You seafarer. So there are, I don't know, I think there are 20, 30 videos already there. We upload one every 2 weeks. A day. Korea has a beautiful one, a very nice one. Huh? So those who wish to join, and I hope and pray you will, this afternoon, anywhere, you can just say no shipping, no shopping. The thank you, if possible, say in your own language, whatever is your mother tongue. So, and then we place your name, either the nation, or we write from wherever nation, or the flag. So the viewer will see that this is from this nation, and the video is much wider than the only one. I think as of now, if you put together that network, the famous Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, etc., there are at least 300,000 viewers. Social media is powerful. Huh? It can make you, but it can break you. So we will see this afternoon. Huh? So we will invite everybody. We also asked Father Bruno to make a very short summary on Glasgow. No? And then I think, Bruno, we can, if you agree, we can do the editing. The boy who is going to be here this afternoon, he is really talented in social media. He's a self-made social media boy. I am a Scalabrinian, but I have a feeling that he will not last because he's too good. Too good. When you are too good, Anyway, I told him, no, but he's really good now, but we can pray that he may really. If you want, once the video is ready with Father Bruno, we can share with you, all of us, and post in your FB, post in your social media network. So the coverage is much wider. And we also tell the world, at least the world in touch with us, that there is something called Glasgow. That Glasgow exists, even if nobody knows Aberdeen, but it's okay. Okay? All right. So the first part, we will see the summary. Joy is going to present us the summary of the previous meetings. We just met online. In person, this is the first one.
No problem. Okay, good morning again. Officially, good morning to everyone. Last year, we had 3 online meetings. The first one was on March 15, and we had 21 delegates from Japan, the Philippines, South Korea, Taiwan, and Thailand, with Father Bruno also. In the opening of that meeting, Father Bruno articulated that the mission calls that you and I, everyone, listen to the experiences of those in the front lines and be in direct communication with the fishers, the seafarers, and their families so that we know what they need. It's something like it's best to get it directly from them. And then the question asked during this meeting was, what challenges did you encounter during the pandemic and how did you respond to this? The common responses were, 1, restrictions in travel mobility because of the lockdown. And because of these, the crew members were not allowed to go off board. And everybody, Stella Maris, could not even go up to visit them. And then, of course, there was the lessened frequency of interaction. So Stella Maris maximized whatever the social media could provide them. There was activities were suspended, activities usually done in ports, the visits and all that. They were suspended, including bringing and picking up the seafarers. So what did Stella Maris do? Intensify the visits in areas that were less restricted. And then they spent longer time listening to the seafarers because at that time seafarers had more to share, their own experiences and the experiences of their families. And then some centers were able to resume their activities towards the latter part of 2020. But despite all these, some found artistic ways, creative ways of distributing Christmas gifts, personal protective equipment like the face mask and the alcohol. Another result of this is that some seafarers and fishers were locked down in the centers together with the staff. And so Stella Marie centers had to provide food for them for the entire duration of the lockdown. The second common response is the fear of getting infected and the stigma of being a carrier of the virus. So it seemed like, for most everybody in the world, coronavirus, resulted in paranoia in a lot of us. So this added to the less movement of the staff and the fishers. There were fewer supporters, there were less donors, of course, and Taiwan noted that the fear is more intense among those with no medical insurances. So they postponed medical consultations. So Taiwan offered free consultations in port whenever they could. Number 3, the lack of human and financial resources. This resulted in low number of health kits that could be shared, food and cash that could be shared. And then, I think this was in Japan, and Korea, suspended turnover of personnel. Those who were supposed to be retiring had to stay because there were no other people who could take over whatever they were doing. And so some centers coordinated with whoever were eager enough or dedicated enough or not as fearful enough to join. Number 4, lack of awareness on pandemic-related information because COVID-19 was not anywhere in the mind of anyone, so people were unprepared. And the centers, of course, and the people did not have enough information on how to manage COVID-19 and the resulting human rights and possible abuse because of the lack of information about it, lack of knowledge on human rights. So because of these, there were less compliance to health protocols and some seafarers were more susceptible to abuse. And some employers took advantage to abuse some people. Some centers were able to hold awareness campaigns and training, advocating for lower cost of the PCR tests, held counseling sessions on human rights, and Taiwan held counseling to help prevent child labor. There were also the issues related to repatriation, crew change, and the resulting issues. The centers felt that too many were happening at the same time, and they had to go the extra mile in whatever way they could because of the limitations. And then, of course, there was the language barrier. A lot of those stranded on ports did not speak English, so the centers had to look for interpreters so there could be communication. And of course, who will forget Diamond Princess? Who will forget Gulf Livestock One, the experiences? And in the Philippines, apart from the lockdown, somewhere in the south, there was the Taal volcano that erupted several times, rendering people, but Batangas, that area is a fishing area. So there were more challenges that the families had to face. That was March 15. The week after March 22, there were 21 delegates from Japan, the Philippines, South Korea, Taiwan, and Thailand, and of course, Father Bruno. And during this time, the centers shared their experiences and their activities that they were able to do during the pandemic. The bottom line is the centers did whatever they could with the limited resources they had in the limited time that they had. They stopped when there were restrictions and resumed their activities when opportunity allowed movement. So ship visitation continued. Some visited hospitals, and Incheon shared their experience in visiting a Filipino seafarer who had to be hospitalized after having an accident at the airport as he was leaving for the Philippines. And then centers were able to continue pastoral and social assistance for the people of the sea and their families, distributing protective and health kits, cash to the seafarers, side by side profiling them. It is Manila who did this one. Apart from giving out cash, they also did a profile of the beneficiaries. Some were able to visit families. Some were able to collaborate with GOs and NGOs that could provide service. And then on June 2 was the third online meeting. There were delegates from Japan, the Philippines, South Korea, Taiwan, Thailand, and the Vatican. And it was on this day that we were introduced to Sister Kathleen. And then we had guests from ITF Philippines in the persons of Mr. Arvin Peralta, Attorney Pedaria, and then we had Attorney Iris Bagila of Dole, and Kate Higginbottom from the United Kingdom ITF. Attorney Bagila focused her sharing on the dilemma that they encountered resulting from the crew change issue, particularly on the crew change issue. They had to charter flights to Europe to deploy crew and to bring in their crew back to the Philippines. They collaborated with the government to promote maritime-centered initiatives such as the Green Lane for the seafarers and the recognition of seafarers as key workers, so they could get vaccinated. They could be given priority in the vaccination. And then she also cited collaborative efforts with Stella Maris Philippines, the Christmas evening masses, the regular Wednesday masses, and also some projects with the Scandinavian Migration Center. She cited problems that seafarers will face in the future because of the changing landscape of maritime. There would be also changes in some requirements and expectations. One point in the discussion that may still be relevant up to now is that question from Father Bruno, that the international maritime industry is fragmented and that there was, and maybe is, no single authority that has issued a policy for everyone, for all the countries, to which Attorney Bagila agreed. And then from Miss Kathy Higginbottom, she focused her sharing with the statement that ITF, which is a separate unit from hers, would have a fisheries section. So there would be a fisheries section in the ITF. We do not know now, of course, if there is already one. But Attorney Pedaris clarified that the fisheries trust would be established soon, but he did not know when. What he meant was that considering the structure of the ITF, it will need a separate trust for the concerns of the fishers. And then there was the recommendation that Stella Maris Philippines strike out relationship with the ITF so that all the centers can benefit from whatever ITF, the fisheries section, could give. Father Bruno said that another meeting could be organized with them towards the end of that year. And then there was the question from Father Bruno to Miss Cathy. He asked how the centers could benefit from ITF, and Miss Cathy said that applications were open, and then Father Bruno said to course the applications of the centers for grants through Father Paulo and through him, because it will need the imprimatur of Father Bruno for that. Okay, so that is all that I can share. I hope that this has somehow brought back memories of what happened then, of what were the pending issues then, how can everybody move forward. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Joy. As we said, for those who did not attend, just think how we were there and how we are now. I do not know what your feeling was, but in those days we did want, personally, we did want to meet somebody, to talk. And I guess those meetings were nice, because even if we saw just in a screen, it's like Amia Krista, the thing that I liked least during pandemic is to celebrate online masses. Unfortunately, I still have. People still ask for online masses because they are so young, so young, that they cannot get out of the house. If you think, we think of this for the seafarers, just let us think. I shared with some of you last night from the Philippines. During the Philippines, there is this Simbang Gabi tradition, for those who are not familiar with. It's 9 days novena masses, which personally I really love it. Really I like. But one night, another priest and myself, we went from New Manila to MAP, to say a mass. Of course, together with Bishop Stud. So we were there, Father and I, flower base, but the soccer field there was full of students. Of course, social distancing, etc. But this is the efforts that we made during pandemic. And the regional meetings, I think it was in that line. We needed to see each other. Then this was supposed to be done in June, and here we are today. Joy, please, you prepare the summary of this meeting, then I present it.
For you.
Yeah. Guys, two things that I guess we keep in mind for our potential planning later on that Joy reminded us. Of course, Bruno is still here, so we can still have the same questions. This afternoon, Attorney Iris is going to meet Bruno. Attorney Iris is somebody who leads the maritime industry. But they have an association called ALMA, and the president is going to talk to us. So I don't think it's a matter of nationality. It's a matter of how is the maritime industry looking into seafarers after pandemic. Let us keep it in mind. You receive the seafarers. We are, all right. And then we have Arvin, who belongs to ITF. In the Philippines, ITF equals AMOSU. Like Apina is an ITF inspector, still, no? Are you still an ITF inspector?
Network, contact network Asia Pacific.
Okay.
Contact network Asia Pacific.
That's it. So you will see, to me, these are issues that every port look into your reality, give an answer. I don't think there should be a standard stuff for Stella Maris. It cannot be copy-paste. The only thing we can copy-paste is that one. But the others, I'm not so sure. And therefore, another issue, big issue, fishers. So if you look into our faces here, some of us might not even have an idea of fishers. We are talking about fishers in international waters, not domestic fishers. Please. We were discussing there before, but in Asia, there are so many people, it's not a nice word because I do not know a better one, jumping into the issue. Greenpeace is there. You know Greenpeace. ILO is there. And ILO will have a meeting in Bali next week, 5 and 6, which I declined. I declined based on one principle. I think it should be the national chaplain, not myself. But then ILO also has some ideas. I agree with opinion that ILO has the money. They do not know what to do with the money, so they went to opinion, they came to us. I said, we will see because they have their standards, we have ours. I don't think we should be a worker of an institution. But I guess all of us here should cooperate with ILO. ILO is government level, in our own capacity and capability. But I think fishers could be our next barrier or frontier when it comes to Stella Maris. We in Asia, this is not the reality of Latin America. But we here, and Apina gets the award from the USA government because of your beautiful work on human trafficking, specifically on fishers. Am I right?
Yes.
So there we are. Are we going all of us, are we going to be all Apina? I'm not so sure. It doesn't matter. We do what we can. So I guess that's it. We shine the way we can. Especially you, Deacon, since you have plenty of air, you can shine. 9:30, yeah? 1 minute back. Another thing, guys, that I guess we have to look into as a region is just throwing ideas for this afternoon. To be honest, we take it home. We are sure that we know ITF. we are sure that we know that if we go to the ITF webpage, there is something there called funds, application form. We know that, am I right?
Yes.
Now, during pandemic, it was the first time ever that ITF granted money to Stella Maris Manila. ITF did grant money to do what we did, and they granted 30% because I was the one making the final report of the centers. One thing I guess we have to keep in mind, to have a proper coordination and cooperation. When we apply, it will be nice. Should we apply? Yes. The money there belongs to the seafarers, and we should be the ones making sure that the money returns to the seafarers and fishers. We should be the ones. So I can apply. So did I apply this time? Yes, we did. Father John and I were lucky in those days of the crisis. At least I can say yes, we survived with that money as well. Thank you, Lord. But now the money is there. If we do not apply, who applies? Others. Others. And then we come to this room and we say, I have no money. Very nice. Very correct. But I will joke now, no money? No money. No, please, this is not nice. Huh? Or Deacon, please. No, but honestly, it is there. So let us keep it in mind this afternoon. How etc. I do not know how it's going to work in other nations, but in the Philippines, I think it will be nice if we work in this direction. Father Paul will think of something which I'll submit to, with due respect to you now, or Monsignor, to Father, the potential next national director. This is internal matter that is going to be nominated by the bishop, who in turn submits to Bruno that endorses this to ITF. Now, the moment Bruno right now, Father Bruno right now, endorses this to ITF, then it's a go. ITF receives a project without endorsement of the potential national director or your nations. We do not know your structure, but more or less the same. And in this case, Bruno Vatican does not give an endorsement, it becomes a question mark. Why am I not coordinating with our international director? So let us try to enter into this dynamic. It makes our life easier. And you and I become the conduits of the money that belongs to the seafarers. I will make a comment which is not really nice because we are not here to fight others. I think we are here to see what we can do. And if I'm wrong, just correct me now. If we don't apply, the mission to seafarers applies?
Yeah.
Okay, so I finished my talk. I finished my talk, all right? So
and I have,
go
do you
ahead.
have a format, Father, in the application of the
Father,
project?
you can remove your mask.
Do you have a format? That's what, the format for
Father,
the...
just go to the web page.
Yes.
Don't please later on we flash. Okay?
Yeah.
Because I'm not going to say it right now. Later on, John is going to present to us, I think, two big areas. One is the database, and you and I, many of us, this afternoon, I'm trying to show what I was able to do. I say I because I did work on it, regarding to the charity money that we got, the $250,000. I'll try to show in numbers what we have achieved as Stella Maris in the Philippines. Because we have the families. So allow us to talk about the families. So I'll show the numbers there. The hundreds of thousands that we have achieved. Charity coming from John facilitated some projects, he can share it. So Father, that one specifically is you, national, Father Bruno. Now, if we make one, all of us, Asia, I do not know if we can do it, perhaps fishers could be, but like we have different realities. Personally, I do think in the Philippines we should I'm sorry to say this, I'm a Scalabrinian, I should be very humble, but I don't think that should be part of. We should show off the good work that we do for the families. There is no larger network than ours. There is no larger family network than Stella Maris. But to me, there is no smaller sharing and reporting than Stella Maris. They serve 3 persons, they have 30-page report. We serve 3,000 persons and we have 3 letters report. So, but that is something. Okay, Father. So just go there and now we can show this, we can flash. ITF, to make sure, is a money that belongs to the seafarers. You know, Amosu, money that belongs to the seafarers. So let's make sure that money returns to them. Otherwise, somebody. Okay? So this is, during the pandemic, ITF came across, ITF offered, we applied, but now let us revive it. Is it a bit tedious? Yes, yes. But then it's not really a matter of being tedious, it's a matter of, remember the word we said in the first day? Accountability. So if you are accountable, no worries. The next time they will see a project from St. Peter, you can trust. Go ahead. All right, Joy, you can make the summary. I talk too much. Thank you. So what is the summary of our meeting?
Okay, I just talking using my computer, that's why. Okay, I will just discuss the commonalities, the common responses in the discussion, in the sharing that we had yesterday. The other day. Number 1 is the same as in the same sharing we had last year, restricted mobility that resulted in postponement or delay of usual services, including visits to the ships. Yeah, I guess. The one that I made for you. Yeah. Diba nagkaroon ng ano kahapon, the other day, yung importante doon. We will try, because the other day, we'll see if it is compatible.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so there was restricted mobility that resulted in postponement or delay of the usual services that the centers were doing, visiting the ports, visiting the families, visiting the hospitals. There was the inability, to do all these things, and there was the lack of financial resources. Very common. Everybody said this one the other day. And there was the lack of manpower. This includes the hard staff and the volunteers. Everybody also said this one. And then there was the fear of, there was the inability to meet staff and volunteers. I think it was Father Kims who said that before he was meeting with the staff on a regular basis, but these were not done anymore. There was the inability to help the seafarers facing challenges related to their job. Those who failed to renew their contract, those who had to stay on board despite the expiration of their contract. And there was also the feeling of isolation of the seafarers, isolation of the families who are away from the seafarers. And somebody mentioned also the chaplains were feeling isolated as well. The second common answer for question number one, this is for question number one, was the fear of getting infected. Again, the same response as we had that we had last year. There was the uncertainty of how to move forward, picking up the pieces. I mean, how to move forward during the pandemic. Father Paulo shared that he had no plan B of how to move forward, keeping the center open or closing the center. There was the uncertainty of how to reach out to those in need, including the staff, because they too were affected. The second question that you answered was, what are the three main challenges you are facing right now? Still the same: the lack of financial resources, the lack of human resources, the staff are aging, and there is the lack of volunteers. And then the changing work environment that kept a lot of you confused, what requirements are needed, how to go about getting the permits, etc., etc. All these change in the work environment and the so-called new normal, of course, affected your services. Next one, the uncertainty of how to move forward, despite are we going back to the new normal? What is really the new normal? What will be the expectations from the Stella Maris centers? The lack of awareness of the existence of Stella Maris by the general public. And then there was the lack of support by the local churches. Some of you mentioned that there is not really a good relationship with the bishop, so you could not move independently. There was the issue of Japan, because they are housed in because the work will have to be absorbed by Caritas Tokyo. And then the next question was, what are your three suggestions to strengthen Stella Maris East and Southeast Asia? One, professionalized Stella Maris. I think there has to be further discussion on this, on what do you mean by professionalized Stella Maris? Professionalized is such a vague word as far as Stella Maris is concerned. But this is something that is good, and I believe there has to be more discussion about this. One is the continuous sharing of information and best practices, cooperation and collaboration. To have regular trainings and meetings, to establish relationship with agencies and groups that matter, meaning that matter in terms of extending financial resources, in terms of helping the centers implement the programs. And then there was the recommendation to work towards awareness and recognition by the agencies and again by the groups that matter. That's it. So what I did was to cluster the responses and put them under these three basic questions. Okay.
Okay. For us to work it later in the last session, does it reflect our current situation as a summary? Oh, by the way, everything is going to be sent to you via email. After we add, delete, etc. Hopefully this afternoon is going to be in your email or tomorrow.
Google Drive.
So we just finish it, no? Does it reflect our discussions? Anybody? Add, delete?
Yes.
So lack of financial resources.
Yeah.
So just to put into the right perspective, at the end of the day, we can look into tomorrow, whatever. We have ITF. Who else is there for us? We have ITF. Okay. Let just. Oh, we are jumping up. I think it is okay. We have ITF there. Who else? Does government agency give money to us?
No.
Forget. Sorry. That we cooperate. This is financial resource. Financial resource means cash. No money, plenty of money. Joy, please, perhaps you can get out of the, just right now there. ITF, who else?
ILO.
ILO gives money?
I don't know, I am asking.
Very good. I think if we have a project, especially on fishes, ILO has a program right now. What is the name of the program?
Ship to shore, right?
Ship to shore. But they are concentrated on fishes. Yes. Okay, but you can put there, Joy. Joy, you can flash the lamp, no worries. We follow you there. Who else? Ice one.
Yeah.
It's okay.
No, give only India.
Ice one, yes. All right, who else? IOM, does they give money? Yes, IOM gives money because IOM for the Philippine delegation this afternoon, please, they want to work with us. Yes. Who else? Nako? How many are these? I will cut more fingers. Not even this. Not even this. Yes.
Number one.
I know, for now, for the before. Okay, yeah, that's it. Don't forget, the best is always last. Yeah, all right. So, but there is TK Foundation.
Yeah.
Okay. There is there are other agencies there, huh? So, if you and I think of raising funds, first of all, we have to identify who are the potential donors for what we are going to do. Am I right? I guess among all of us here, there is some
Ponticus.
Porticus.
Ponticus.
Do they give money for the seafarers?
They give for trial also if we ask for.
All right.
Because of in Thailand, one time we have Caritas Asia meeting, and I was there to present Stella Maris, and she asked, "Oh, Stella Maris is the best work. Why you never ask application fund from us?" I said, "Oh, next time."
Okay, Porticus.
Ponticus.
Porticus here in Asia is based in Hong Kong, huh?
Yes.
All right.
But I thought this was funded by Ponticus because
Very good, Edwin. But this is, I think, empowering us.
John is hand up.
Empowering us. And John is going to talk later. Okay, we will not allow him to talk now because we want to hear from us first. Then, John, you can put things into the right perspective.
Embassy.
Porticus, that's what just right there, Porticus.
Okay.
Yes. But again, now the channel, the how do you call the command? The chain of command must be followed. Porticus does, yes, but we have to go through the right channels. Because I know two others in UK, but we have to go through the right channels. Who else?
Maybe some private institutions,
Like
the Cosmetic Asia Corporation in our diocese.
but that is local. So, join. Let's say your local funders. Very good. Then whatever is the name is the name.
Embassy.
Embassy. Embassy gives money.
Yes.
Now we know.
Wow. The Thai embassy.
US Embassy and Australia Embassy always open the application for us fundraising.
But that is really on human trafficking.
Yes.
Or on fishers and seafarers.
All trafficking, all kinds. of
Human trafficking.
Yes.
So it's specific. Yeah, USA, Australian Embassy of human trafficking. So if a seafarer is trafficked, you might get some money. But as far as we know, our other embassies, we have a Brazilian who was cheated by a Filipino there. He's in the embassy, they want to come with us.
And if
The Brazilian embassy,
and if officially we have Walmart.
huh?
Walmart.
But again, PDA is human trafficking.
Yes, officially.
Human trafficking. Okay, you
House
look
A.
at huh?
House A. AUS.
But do they give money? Wait, guys. Sorry to be so. Is this an idea, or we know? I have inside knowledge that the agency gives, or better say, supports a potential project for seafarers and or fishers? They do?
Yes. Well,
USA, they do.
Walmart also give for seafarers because of they have seafood task force working in whole supply chains.
Yeah, because that is for Thailand.
So they will have the project for the seafarers.
Okay, all right. But that is very,
Yes.
Walmart.
Walmart, yes,
Yes,
in
yes.
USA.
But that is very much for trafficking. Who else? Can I raise my hand? Isn't it so amazing that nobody mentions the church?
Look,
No, Caritas is an institution by itself still. But how about the church where you and I work? The only one that I am aware of that has had some fundraising as of now is, talking from the perspective again of the Philippines, is Diba, sister? The famous National Seafarers Day.
Yeah.
Whatever national in UK is Sea Sunday, it doesn't matter. Of course in Scotland there is nothing, we know.
It started in Scotland.
It started in Scotland, that's why we're so bad. In Thailand, do you have any day for
I
fish?
only celebrate Sea Sunday.
for fundraising? No. In Korea,
When I have Sea Sunday and need to collect fundraising, Bishop go and do in your parish only. Yes.
okay. In Korea, is there any day that you have fundraising?
No, they eventually visit the parishes.
Parishes
Yeah.
or dioceses?
Yeah.
Okay. Father Kim, do you know if there is anything in Vietnam? So see guys, perhaps one of our strategies, as we say, charity begins. We are going so far. See? We are going so far. How about our house? Now, for you, for us to be able to show to the bishop that perhaps the whatever day of the week, month and year, it doesn't matter, in that occasion, there should be some support for this ministry. I think the best way is to say, Bishop, this is the number of people that we serve, including in your diocese. We have this project. So I guess we have to go back now to look into how can we help our bishops regardless to the nationality, to better understand this ministry, and therefore it is going to be a miracle, no? But miracles do happen. I never knew that they are supporting General Santos, so that is a small miracle, no? So let us pray for more miracles, because we go everywhere. The reality is that in our house, I don't think we forget Father. It's just perhaps he's like Father Bompa does. My fault, my fault. All right. So financial is there. So the number one challenge here, if we talk about how do we raise funds, is to identify the potential donor. Once identify the potential donor, does the potential donor match my project? Because if the donor does not match my project, let's not waste our time. Am I right? Then we do a lot of work. They are, for example, they only give money for the blue color, but I am asking for the red color. Before beginning, I am already disqualified, and then we get disappointed. So let us try to do this. But this is a work that I guess we have to learn how to do. We can help each other. I don't know, perhaps Mr. John, this can be a topic for another training. That's why I think the first ones we care is myself. We empower ourselves. At the moment you and I are empowered, we can empower others. Knowledge is power. those who have knowledge, they have power on us. Okay? So that is the first one. Sorry, this was this afternoon, but there we go. But then, sorry, going back, so just we mentioned that. I like this staff in aging. What is your suggestion? Since some of us are aging, to retire, I think perhaps we can propose that the aging staff should be given a proper pension by Stella Maris. This could be also another topic, John. There are a large number of us here already over 60. Perhaps we should be paid accordingly. No? No? Not a good idea.
Would it be a part of
But this is a problem. We are we are getting old, thank you, Lord. But those who used to be our volunteers, probability they are retired, have a certain age. Where are they now? Where are they now? So that is something that we have to look into. How can I attract the volunteers to us again? Or in addition to us survive, because some of us here, we have mentioned, we have no money, so how is that? All right, so the human resources, changing the work environment. But anyway, any other comment on B, C, D, or E?
Father,
Yes, please.
because aging is one of our concerns in Japan. So what we already initially shared with Father Edwin is that we're planning, hopefully, to have an awareness about Stella Maris, so that we could encourage, particularly our Filipino parishioners in the diocese to help us. Because there are already some Filipinas who are free of their responsibilities to their children in their 50s. And they're very helpful whenever we ask for their help. So if we're going to create an awareness for them, for nations about Stella Maris, we are very hopeful that we could make them help us to become new volunteers in different ports, not only in Tokyo, because there are other ports also within the Archdiocese of Tokyo, but far from us. So they could do it by themselves. And us, also in Tokyo, we could also create. So that's how we're thinking about it, to address our concerns about aging. But of course, pertaining to the aging volunteers are Japanese, because mostly of the present current volunteers are Japanese, and they're elderly. That's why we saw it right away. But pertaining to the Japanese volunteers, we will try also to do it, work with them also on how we could do about it, because they're very.
Oh, this is already the last session, so never mind, we just go on. If needed, the last session, we can say it's finished. But personally, I think that should be every church, Korea. You also have the same problem, no, Father? Aging volunteers. Of the volunteers. I think Thailand, you have the same. Father, you are just beginning. No? So, but Father has a large number of volunteers. We are aware of that. But he is trying to channel them now to seafarers. No? So thank you, Father. And then all of us here in the Philippines, we know that. I feel the lay ministers in the parishes, they disappear because they cannot. So how can we bring them back to help us? So when we say embark, what is the strategy? So how do we make our potential volunteers aware of the beauty of Stella Maris? I think we have to think in that line. Is it going to be a video, a printout? Is it going to be whatever campaign? So when we say the idea, I think let us try to think of the strategy. How do we, remember with Stefano, how do we sell our product? Because if nobody buys, the idea is very clear. They don't like. I don't like the product.
Father, because we have also difficulty making this, bringing this to the Japanese parishioners, although they're, because of the language. So if you could help us, especially the orientation, during our orientation, Father, and we use some videos for us volunteers to know about the preparations, guidelines on how to do ship visitation. So there are available videos. And we could, I don't know how are you going to determine that, make it available for us to put subscript in Japanese.
Okay. Just a question lang, huh? John, please. For the time being, you're not allowed to talk now, please. Have you watched our video as Stella Maris? Raise your hand, please. There is a video on Stella Maris. Oh, please. Okay, very good. Did you see, John, how many?
Which video?
Which videos,
Which
Father?
videos you are talking about?
Stella Maris.
Stella produced many.
No, the one on real Stella Maris, which includes also the logo. No, John, later on we can do that.
Maybe we saw it, but
Maybe you saw. No, but just that this can be an example where we put the subtitles. But anyway, if needed translation to Japanese, we can easily arrange. No problem, because Japanese must be a very easy language. You know why? Because in Japan, even the children speak Japanese. It must be very easy. Is it right or wrong? In Visaya must be a very easy language, even the children speak Visaya. Okay, so with this nonsense joke, like the same is for Thai, even the children speak Thai, so it must be easy. I don't know Korean. Can we break, because and then 10:30 we can expand all this discussion guided by Father Bruno. Okay. All right. So we come back 10:30 and open for. Bruno, sorry, can I show the video? Sorry, Bruno. I apologize for my being so young. Nothing to do. The audio is not working.
This was the video that was done for the launching of the new logo.
YouTube.
stop there because there is
Sorry, brother. This is
there is the link.
YouTube.
Can you go back, please?
I'll try my best.
And then you just show the.
I don't have the.
Yeah, go. And then, for more information.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That one?
Yeah. Okay.
I.
So you see there is visit www. Okay, anyway. Because there is the link that you can go and you can find the new logo in all the different kind of format. So you can have it in PDF, you can have it in Word, you can have it in AE, that is the particular format that you can make it as much small as this and big as this. So that's very useful if you have to reproduce. That's this one. And if you have to reproduce different format with Stella Maris below or with the writing on the side, there you find everything at that website. So, and I hope that people will not start changing the logo, because while we were preparing the logo, I did a research and there were 23 different kind of logos that were worked out from the work of Stella Maris. And the problem is that if everyone, because he is inspired and he wants to make the logo in the way that he likes, people will think that we are different.
Yeah.
And so we cannot work as a global network. So stop working with the logo. The logo is this and it remains this. I have to say it. Don't make all your things around because you are an artist and you wanted to make it better. So please don't change the logo. This is important because otherwise we will never be recognized as a global network. While Seafarers, Mission to Seafarers, Sailor Society, the logo is always the same. They don't change it. They don't put frames around. They don't color it differently. It's been always like that, some for 200 years. So let us try to be all the same. Second, here there is written update on the Centennial Glasgow Celebration Open Forum. I don't know, everybody has received an invitation to attend to the World 25th World Congress of the Stella Maris. One of the things that I'm experiencing every 5 years when we have the Congress, that suddenly I realized that there are so many Stella Maris around the world that I didn't know about it. But when there is the World Congress, everybody says I'm Stella Maris. But for the past 5 years, no one sent a report. No one sent. And after, oh, but Father, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, we are look at our program and everything. Thank you very much. But I will keep this for the next World Congress. So if you want to attend the next World Congress, please get ready now. And also I get all kind of strange requests. Somebody says, oh Father, I cannot come, so can you give the scholarship to my sisters? That means we are not doing, there are people that they are sponsored, and with John we were just working on it, and says, yes, I will come, and after I go to visit my relatives and everything, so book the return ticket from England by the end of October. So this is not all about Congress. Congress, first of all, is about people that have been working for the seafarers, fishers throughout the 5 years. You cannot come at the last minute and say, I want to come. So that's the important things. Second, scholarship. Unfortunately, we didn't have many funds for the scholarship this year because of the different reasons. So scholarship there is always a choice that has to be made, and as I said, usually I do the decision based on what the people have done during the past 5 years. If you have done the work, you can deserve the scholarship. I didn't receive any report, I didn't know what you have done, you don't get the scholarship. And also sometimes I get a little bit upset when I see people that they want the scholarship, and after you see that you give the scholarship because, oh Father, I don't have money, oh Father, please help me to pay this and that. And after the Congress, they spend 2 or 3 weeks traveling around the world. So why I have to give you money for the scholarship if you go around the world? I'm saying this because I've been organizing World Congress with the dicastery in Rome since 1997. That was the one in Davao, followed the one in Brazil 2002, followed the one in Poland in 2007, 2012 in Rome, 2017 in Taiwan, and now I'm organizing this. So I'm saying all these things because of the experience, because of all the things that I have witnessed in organizing all this World Congress, but also organizing other regional, national meetings and things like that. So we will expect around 150 to 200 people. So it's not going to be a big World Congress, and this is for several reasons. We were supposed to do it on 2020, but we know why it didn't happen. The program will start on October 3, that is a Monday. There will be the opening session with the welcoming of the different people. And after there is a program that includes a little bit of history from people that they have witnessed that, and in particular the people that have been in the dicastery. So from Antonella Farina, that was the secretary of the Stella Maris until 2006, but I cannot say the beginning of her staying, but she was there for 44 years in the dicastery. There will be Monsignor Dillenburg, that he was there from 1991 to 1996. There will be Father Gerard Tronche from 1994 to 2003. There will be Monsignor Jacques Carrel, 2003-2008, and myself from 2009 to the present. And after we will have a perspective from the industry, so there will be a lady from V-Ship, that is a management company, and also there will be, as Paolo already mentioned, attorney Iris Barguilat, that is from the Philippines. And so they will try to present us what were the challenges for them during the pandemic, and how they can see that they provide welfare for seafarers from the point of view of industry, and how we can work with them as a welfare organization. There will be Stefano that will present the result of the 3 pilot projects that we have, and he will make some proposal for a capacity building of the chaplain in the future in Stella Maris. There will be a presentation of different chaplains. One is a deacon in Denmark that from the ashes of the Stella Maris after the war in Denmark, where we had, I think, 10 or 15 presents. There was nothing, and Deacon David was able to restart Stella Maris in Denmark, and so he can teach us how we can create Stella Maris from the scratch. There will be Father Paolo, that he has a mysterious title for his presentation. What is the password, the spirituality of our ministry? And there will be Don Giuseppe Mazzotta, that is an Italian priest, director of the Stella Maris Augusta in Sicily. He will speak about Stella Maris, a bridge between land-based Christian community and the sea. We will move to celebrate the Mass in St. Mungo's St. Mungo's Church, there in Glasgow, and the Mass will be celebrated by the Bishop of Aberdeen, the President of the Bishops' Conference of Scotland. Soon after, we will have a civic reception where the Lord Prevost, that I think is the equivalent of the city mayor, but they use a different name, Jacqueline McLaren, she just confirmed last night that she will be there with us, and after we will have dinner on the city chamber of Glasgow. So this is the first day. The second day, he will start with hopefully Father Alexander, that is our Stella Maris chaplain in Ukraine. Hopefully he will be there. And Father Edward Prax, that is the National Director of Stella Maris in Poland. Of course, Father Alexander, we know why he's coming, and Father Edward is present at the moment now, welcoming 55 refugees in the center in Kashmir. Soon after that, we have a panel presentation, panel discussion with the head of the charities. So there will be Stuart River, that is the Chief Executive of the Merchant Navy Welfare Board. There will be Grange Simon from ISWAN, and Lady Deborah, the Chief Executive of Seafarers Charity. So that's the panel discussion, followed by a presentation on a global partner in labor abuse at sea. This is done by Jessica Spark. We have been working with her already for more than 1 year. Our chaplain, they are distributing questionnaire to the seafarers, and through this questionnaire we try to identify around the world where there are ports that could be problematic. So port where there could be exploitation, port where there could be trafficking, port where there could be abuses, and this is they are doing this research in collaboration with the Nottingham University. Then we have another presentation. The title is Which Apostles for the Stella Maris Ministry, and we have a lay volunteer, that is Margaret Masibo from Kenya. We have a permanent deacon, that is Deacon Dilip from Vancouver in Canada. And we have a chaplain, that is Martino Don Giacomo, is a former director of Stella Maris and international director of Stella Maris Italy, and he was also a chaplain on board. Then we have our partner with whom we serve the people of the sea. There will be Reverend Jason Zuidema, that is the General Secretary of International Christian Maritime Association, and Mr. Chi Yi-shen, that is the section chief of Deep Sea Fishery Planning Section of Taiwan. Then in the afternoon, there will be Marla Assis from the Scalabrini Migration Center. She's been doing a research on seafarers and fishers. She's also doing a research on comparison between seafarers and land-based migrants when they return. How is their life? And so they will present this. Then we have our Deacon Ricardo Rodriguez is from Spain, and he will present Stella Maris, a church which goes forward. And Martin Foley will conclude with a call for maritime action. We will have at 6 o'clock the Mass in the St. Andrew Cathedral in Glasgow. We will celebrate the feast of St. Francis d'Assisi, and the main celebrant is Bishop Alex from India. We will return to the hotel. In the evening there will be a play, the history of Stella Maris in history, and that will be done in the form of a theater. After that we will have the award ceremony for people that either they are the dinosaur of the Stella Maris, or for other work and contribution for Stella Maris. And we are looking for the nation that will be willing and ready to accept the next World Congress in 2027. So this is very fast the program of the Congress. There might be still changes and other things. So I don't know if there are questions. I don't know what I have to say more. It's the Congress is this. And, do you have any question or anything? For the people that they are registered, we will send out a registration form, because we have to know the people that they are attending to get the ID and all these kind of things, and to be able to eat, to drink, to participate to all the different activities. Yes.
Just came to my mind now. How much can we learn to bring, I wouldn't say the results, but perhaps the good things that I have been invited, thank you. We will learn. No, we will, let's say I will learn. How can we bring it back, and not how, can we plan something that we bring the good results to the region?
That's the point of the regional coordinator. You are invited because of your position as a regional coordinator, like all the other regional coordinators have been invited. So that's the thing. Okay,
I withdraw my motion.
But there depends on each person that is attending the World Congress. And you remember in Taiwan 2017, soon after Taiwan, we had a meeting here in Manila where we sort of echo what we did in Taiwan. So that depends on you as a regional coordinator in coordination with the national director of Stella Maris in your region, what you would like to plan.
My plan, I already said, I withdraw my motion.
There is one thing that we will send out an information, because I know that many people, they are not attending, but thanks to the technology, we will ask the people that they are not attending to the World Congress, if they would like, to send a short message between 30 seconds to 1 minute. You type it, you send it to us, and we will play this this message that we receive from you. So we will send out the information to all the chaplains and volunteers around the world, at least the one that we have in our list, and we say, look, if you cannot attend, you can send a message to us, send it to this address. We are working out if it will be YouTube or what, and after the people that will be there, they will see your message.
Bruno,
Yes. Go ahead.
yeah. Will there be a video by Joe of language to show there's such a thing as Parliamo Glasgow?
Yeah. So we will have a translator.
English translation.
English. The Congress will be transmitted live. Not all. There will be some of the session that will be live. So again, we will let the people know the link, and so they can follow some of the proceeding of the Congress live. Some other will be on video recording, and they will be placed on YouTube, and so people later they can go and watch this. So nothing should be lost from the Congress. We have a company that will be with us for the practically for the 2 days, all the time, doing taping, video recording, live streaming, and all these kind of things. So I have to say that this is a kind of a crazy things that now I'm regretting having decided to do the World Congress, because actually we decided practically in June this year to do the World Congress, because we realized that things were opening up, there was the possibility, and practically we got the confirmation from the hotel the last week of July, and the first week of August I sent out the letter. So, and it's a crazy operation to organize the World Congress with 150, 200 people in 2 months while I'm traveling around the world.